The IEC announcing earlier this afternoon a voter registration weekend will be held ahead of the local government elections. It will take place in the 18th and the 19th, on the 18th and the 19th of September. The Commission also announced that the candidate registration process will reopen after the poll proclamation. Let's cross to our reporter, Silindelo Masikane, who was at that briefing in Centurion. Silindelo, thank you so much for making time. Two key decisions, one around voter registration. There was another one around the candidate list and that process being reopened, but not all political parties are happy with that.
Certainly so. We know, of course, that a meeting took place with political parties earlier today around that decision to reopen the candidates nomination list. And the IEC says this is really to ensure that the elections are free and fair, and that because the registration weekend will be taking place, that means that political parties need to be given the chance to also submit candidates that would have possibly registered for the first time in their municipalities. And of course, we also know that the minister is now seized, the Cochrane minister is now seized with the decision of proclaiming a new date, which must be, of course, by the 1st of November for these elections to take place. But I'm joined by one of the commissioners to just give us more context around the briefing today. So just please introduce yourself and give us a sense as to the IEC's decision to reopen the nominations list, which has been met with some criticism.
Thank you very much. My name is Mosoto Moepia. As you would know, the Constitutional Court issued an order on Friday afternoon. We all don't have the reasons for the order, that accompany the order. To the best of our understanding of that order, we are required to either consider a registration weekend, if it would be practical, and to open our voting stations for registration. Alternatively, to leave our municipal electoral offices open for persons that have not had the opportunity to register for these elections to do so. And if we opt for this latter option, we have until the 10th, at least up to the 10th, after which date the minister must then proclaim an election. The Commission has considered the order of the court. We have determined that it is more preferable to have a registration weekend where we open closest to where voters will be and give them the opportunity to register as voters. As a consequence thereof, naturally, a registration weekend precedes a candidate nomination process. Once voter registration has happened, proclamation has happened, candidate nomination happens. In the current circumstances, what we are doing would require that all of the new registered voters who wish to stand for elected office, we need to facilitate their rights to be able to stand for that elected office. And the only way you do that is you open candidate nomination. And in this instance, the court said we must do as may be reasonably necessary. We have a truncated election timetable that seeks to accommodate this difficult position we find ourselves in on account of the COVID-19 pandemic that we're dealing with.
So, many say, or some criticism is that the IEC was actually not prepared to have the elections at least this year. You were looking for a postponement that would see the elections possibly taking place next year. Can we ensure that these elections will be free and fair?
Let me deal with the point you raise as an allegation. We reject that. We are clear. We said from the word go that we will be ready to deal with an election on the 27th if our request, as we understand, to meet three competing constitutional requirements is not favored. We will do so. We stand ready to undertake an election as we are required, at least at that level. That hasn't changed. We've kept that position. We have honored every date that was in the election timetable up for the 27th until the court determined that we need to reopen registration. And we will do so. There is no truth in the fact that we were not prepared for these elections.
Thank you so much, sir. I think that's where we can leave it for now.
Thank you very much.
Clement, sir, as you can hear, the IEC says they are ready to ensure that these elections will take place by that date that will be proclaimed by the minister.